Guys, I'm Prince Harry. I'm going to narrate this video. Let's toast to we need more things in our cup to actually drink. Drinking air. Guys, what I want to talk about today is guides in MMOs. Now, Strife Hayes did this video early last year talking about this, and since then I've seen countless other people in not just on YouTube, but in forums and comment sections say the exact same thing. Just a lot of people seem to just not be able to form their own opinions. They just repeat things other people say. I mean, some of it seems to be that way, but I do get their point. I get the point to some extent. The problem I have with Josh and some other people, what they're saying about it is a lot of the blame is put on the players. But to me, games can be designed in a way that can make guides not obsolete, because here's the thing, you can put out all the videos you want, you're never going to stop people making guides and using guides. People are going to use them. In fact, the majority of the player base will probably always use guides if they're out there, and there's always going to be some kind of guide for any kind of game, no matter how you design it. You can never completely eliminate guides, but you can make a game that has more randomness built in and has more things built in that can, servers can be different. Like the way a server levels up can be different, and I'll get into that with like Ashes of Creation and some of these other games and what they're doing that could making a guide kind of difficult, or you might have to make a guide just for a specific server, but then the server could actually change and then that guide is obsolete, so it would have to be updated. These are all things that, like, I put more of the blame on the game instead of on the players, because you're not going to change the players at this point. It's not happening. A lot of people like me, this is the way we want to play. We want to play efficiently. Time is your most valuable commodity, your most valuable resource source, and I want to play efficiently. And the reason, especially in a lot of games, that you want to level as quickly as possible is because in most cases the leveling is really boring in a lot of MMOs, and the end game is the game. Now, if a game would ever make leveling part of the experience instead of an added on thing that is tedious and boring to do, then we wouldn't have to rush through it as much. But people are always going to try to play efficiently. You're not stopping that. If you don't want to play that way, find a group of players that wants to play that way and play without guides. That's fine. But don't limit us. If I want to use guides, I'm going to use guides, and I'm probably going to make guides for certain games. And for instance, like looking at recent games like New World, and how with that game, I'm glad there was guides that let me level more efficiently, because it got me out of that game faster. I got to the end game, realized it's not the game for me much quicker than I would have if I would have just blindly leveled really slowly. I'd have been stuck in that game for longer, just wasting more time than I already did. So I'm glad for guides in that respect. I'm glad for guides to get you through the tedious parts of an MMO, to get to the better parts of an MMO. That's why we play the guides. Now, for like raids and things like that, guides only help you so much. There's still a big factor with experience. Like watching on really complicated raid bosses, watching guides only helps you a little bit. It's not going to get you everywhere. And the other thing is there's gear checks and things like that. You can't just watch a guide video on a raid boss and just beat the raid boss. If you don't have gear, if you don't have a good group, if you don't have good communication, you're still not going to beat the raid boss. So it's not just a free win to read a guide. What else did I want to talk about? Yeah, guides are not the reason that MMO players run out of content. There's a lot of MMOs that have tons of guides written about them that people never run out of things to do. New World, people ran out of things to do because they didn't have an end game really built out at all. It's not the player's fault, it's the game's fault. And games can make things that guides are less efficient, or guides will be less useful for. For instance, like World of Warcraft was made in 2004 before the guides thing got really big. And it was just in no way was designed to have any kind of counter guide mechanics, if you will. But there's some new MMOs on the horizon. Ashes of Creation and the Riot MMO I'm going to talk about. Now, Ashes of Creation has the node system. And with the node system, you have every server is going to be different, and when a node levels up, new quest lines open up. So as you get to a Metropolis stage, you're going to have an entirely different quest experience for that server if you have a Metropolis node in one area versus another area. what I want to do for you guys is just show you guys a node simulation that Ashes of Creation has on their wiki. You know, how you could have variations with your nodes. So you have all your level 2 nodes here, you have at level 3 here, and so on and so forth. And you know, each server, this is going to be considerably different. This level 3 here might not, it might be a level 1 on a different server. So this is going to change the quest lines that are available by server. And not every server is going to be the same. So in essence, you're going to have to make guides for each server. But then the server could change. A Metropolis node could get deranked all the way down to like a level 3, and then another Metropolis node in an entirely different area could form. And that would completely change the quest line, so the guides would have to all be rewritten. Now, I think, yeah, because there's going to be 4 starting areas, so each starting area, you could have a guide that could get you to, say, like level 10, maybe level 20, and that's probably not going to change drastically on each server. So that could be the same for each server. And there might even be a 5th starting location if the Tolnar. Yeah, I guess the Tolnar are going to start on above ground, possibly. Well, I guess we don't know on that yet. We're going to find that out eventually. But let's just say there's 4 starting areas. Each starting area could have a guide that could get you to like level 10, level 20. But then after that, it's going to be much more difficult to make guides. But there's still going to be guides out there. But the other thing they're going to have is leveling is going to take a long time. So whether you have a guide or not, it's still going to take you a long time to level. Max levels should be attainable in approximately 45 days if playing 4 to 6 hours per day. So you can't really power level in Ashes of Creation. I mean, it's going to take, it's a little bit old school in its leveling approach. It's going to take quite a while to level. But you know, they're trying to make the leveling a lot more interesting. You're going to have things to do with your node. You're going to have things to do with your freehold. The game is not just about leveling. At least that's what they're going for. We'll see if that actually happens or not, but that's what they're going for. So again, these are the things, you know, you're going to have dynamic things while you're leveling up. The dynamic PvP that kind of pops up. You're going to have that. You're going to have a lot more going on when you're leveling than just like running from quest hub to quest hub. There's not going to be a lot of quest hubs. You're not going to just go quest hub to quest hub through a zone and then you're done like you did in Lost Ark. It's not going to happen like that. It's not going to be a linear experience. So this is one game that's designed, and it's designed to kind of get around the whole guide mechanics that has popped up in MMOs. And again, this is going from somebody that I don't mind guides. I don't see what the huge problem is with guides, but this MMO makes guides much more difficult. There's going to be a lot of discovery in this MMO because it's so much different than other MMOs in terms of the way the questing is built out. Next, I want to talk about the Riot MMO, and I did the video recently on the top or everything that we know about the Riot MMO. And one thing that stuck out to me when I was doing that, somebody had asked, you know, about the guide issue. Early informed, any form of information monetization ruins them. I disagree, but still, like he says, WoW's developed for a lot of that stuff even existed. I think it's possible make influencers part of the experience. So that's interesting. And then another thing that kind of stuck out to me is complex systems and unpredictability. So something you could have for like this, for like raids. You could have a boss that has a table of, say, like 50 abilities, and let's say the game just randomly picks 5 or 10 that it's going to use throughout the fight. That would make guides really difficult to make for that. Eventually, yes, a guide would probably be made for that, but then the devs could just eventually go through and slap different abilities, take abilities off, slap new ones in. You could do stuff like that. And not having add-ons. Like, I really think that like add-on support, like I like add-ons, but at the same time, I think add-on support has it's dumbed down the rating in like World of Warcraft, deadly boss mods. Zillin, I think, in one of his videos, I think it was the 1v1 podcast that he was on, I was listening to that, and I thought he had a great point where he was talking about how SWTOR doesn't have add-ons, so you don't have deadly boss mods, which makes the rating a lot more difficult. And I haven't done rating in over 10 years, so I'm not up to speed on the scene, really. I'm a PvPer. I think that's a good point. I think if you don't, I think add-on support is probably a bigger issue than guide creation is, because people can be super lazy. You just install that and it tells you exactly what to do throughout the whole fight. It makes it really brain dead. So maybe the add-on support is the bigger issue. And like the problem with like WoW and the reason you need add-ons is because their base UI just sucks so bad. If you look at like Guild Wars 2, it doesn't have add-ons, and it's fine because the UI is really really good. And a lot of MMOs, have like a really good UI, so you don't need a ton of add-ons to have a proper game. But WoW, if you're not using add-ons, you're really at a disadvantage. So I don't know how I feel on add-ons, but in many ways I like a game that has a really good stock UI to where you don't need a lot of add-ons. Now having the ability to put a few add-ons is nice, but being forced to use add-ons just to make your game work, I don't like that at all. And guys, that's it for this video. Again, I'm Prince Harry. I got a real special guest for you on the song going out today. I got one hit wonder Uncle Kracker now. Probably most of you guys don't know who he is, but in the late 90s, he had one song that was really good, and it was called Drift Away, and we're going to sing it for you guys. He can't be here today, so for the first time, it'll be me singing it, but I hope you guys enjoy it. It's going to be great. Day after day I'm more confused, yet I look through the light through the pouring rain. You know that's a game that I hate to lose, and I'm feeling the strain. Ain't it a shame? Oh, give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Oh, give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away.